just based on that.
Yeah, and it's a great point that you make, especially as a guy that won a championship in a different country on a big stage. You know how important that is. Looks like we're going to be seeing a mirror matchup here, at least so far here in matchup number 1 of the day. KK top of your screen, Morten at the bottom. You can see where they got here through the ladder. Morten had a little bit more success than KK, but it doesn't really matter. It's all reset to 0 here today. And Juicy, how you feel about this deck? I know this has been one of the most popular decks in the game for a very long time. It got a little quiet during the E-Giant meta because everyone was playing E-Giant, including you. But this deck never really disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great deck. Royal Hogs, Archer Queen, EQ. Royal Hogs are just always finding a way to connect to the tower, it seems. Always getting a little bit of chip damage. The Archer Queen synergizes really well with that Royal Delivery, allowing units to come forward and get that roll delivery down in defense, getting a lot of value that way. Looks like we are going to be seeing a opposite lane match here. I think the roll delivery is by far the most important thing in this deck because it is so good at countering those pigs and those deliveries.
Yeah, when you talk about, matchups and knowing how to play through matchups, obviously mirror matchups is a different conversation. Is there a key to victory with this specific mirror matchup that you found in the past, or is it kind of situational based on the game and your competitor?
Yeah, I think the most important part of this matchup is like anti-earthquake cannon placements. So we can see Morten using those anti-earthquake cannon placements, but he's not using a cycle card to push that last piggy over the cannon. And that's what it's allowing KK get a little bit of chip damage on this left hand side so far. And I think just one more thing I would say is because of how valuable the roll delivery is, a lot of the time earthquake cycle is a big thing in this kind of matchup.
I love that you talked about using those skellies to push the hog aside. It's one of my favorite interactions in the game. It's one that you only see at the highest level, and it's one that's really, really important in these Earthquake Cannon mirror matchups. And like you just talked about or intimated, how important Earthquake is going to be, KK already working on that. And this time, KK completely missing the pull and the push. The skellies come down and the cannon does, but no hogs go to the cannon, and the skellies not putting in a lot of DPS there. So KK still in the lead with an EQ cycle, a little bit of touch there. 2020 over to 2018, separated by 2 HP. Morten just barely in the lead.
Yeah, Morten slightly missing that cannon with the earthquake there at the end. I think he could have got a little bit more damage there. I like the queen in the back on the right hand side. A lot of the time you want to be going queen in the back on your healthy side tower because it could be considered like earthquake and log value, just cycling your spells on that sort of thing. He goes for some pigs on the left-hand side here. I'm not sure why. I think focusing on one lane in this matchup is really important. Morten is getting a lot of damage on both sides, though. Maybe that could be helpful for him later down the line by being able to split his pigs to prevent that roll delivery value.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, though, man. It's really tough in these mirror matchups, especially with this type of mirror matchup. The games usually come down to the difference of just one hog hit or a couple EQ cycles. So splitting that damage in the game through midway through the game, as you can see, now KK is firmly in the lead. Couple hundred HP on one side, a few hundred HP on the other. Morten now going with a 4 split to the one side, AQ to the other. Looks like he was maybe going to go for the 3-1, but he goes 4-0.
Earthquake does take that cannon out quite nicely, but Morten's just not having a easy time breaking through KK's defense right now. And as it heads into the final stage of this match, triple elixir, I think Earthquake cycle is going to be the determining factor. And that queen 3-card cycle is really important as well. You got to keep your queen alive so you can cycle more earthquakes, and that's exactly what KK's doing right now.
I don't know how much I love that Morten is sending those hogs in the left-hand lane because you're getting a royal delivery to come down and then lead that counter push every single time. It's not a huge thing, but it's just a little bit that KK is not doing on the other side of it, that Morten doesn't have to deal with, or that Morten is not doing for KK, and because of it, you see KK up ahead again, still by 200 HP.
Yeah, that last defense is really clean by KK, using that anti-earthquake cannon placement, pushing over with the fire spirit. Morten's doing everything he can to try and, maybe come back with an archer queen hit or two, but overall, KK focused on one tower throughout this match, while Morten was basically splitting up his focus on both towers, and KK is going to take the W there with some nice defense and some earthquake cycles.
Yeah, I mean, you add up the HP remaining on both sides. You see 1113 there, and on the other side, I think it's like 1400 something. So KK ahead by just a few, and that all comes from, I think, exactly what you're talking about, man. Morten would go opposite lane. He's trying to create pressure, trying to make KK make mistakes, whereas I think KK maybe respected Morten's defense a little bit more and just goes, all right, I'm not going to break through. I'm not going to make you make a mistake, so let's just EQ cycle when we don't have a better option.
Absolutely, and that's what he did really well as well, like KK just having perfect defense there, almost never taking any Hoggies damage.
So here we go, game number 2. Morten down 1, and obviously 3 is the magic number on the day. You win 3, you move on, you lose 3, you go home. Well, technically you go to tomorrow's LCQ. Same time, same place. 2 more people will qualify. The final 2 people will qualify for our World Finals tomorrow. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as we move into game number 2. Looks like Royal Giant top of our screen. Going to be Mighty Miner Bait at the bottom.
Yeah, Mighty Miner Bait with guards. I like the guards pick here. Obviously, can't use skeletons. It is the duels formatting here. But the guards are really useful, like defensively, especially if KK is using Royal Giant. Guard's one of the best Royal Giant counters. With the cage, I feel like it could be something other than Royal Giant, like maybe an Electro Giant or even a recruit stack. But with the Hunter, I'd say you're absolutely right in that E-Spirit as well.
Yeah, definitely a weird composition here from KK. I can see what you're talking about. It's still being E-Giant, and, you know, we'll see if he does go with the RG that we're both kind of guessing at. And like you're saying, those guards going to be put in great work. Not going to give up as easy piggies to that Mother Witch, or at least gives you a little bit more time to respond. Not sure what Morten's big spell is with Snowball coming down. Dark Goblin does get on tower, and the Snowball comes in. That is a great Snowball from Morten. Dark Goblin goes to town. RG comes down in the back, 1506 to 2 healthy towers. And that is a great spot for Morten, who keeps up the pressure. And that is pretty classic for that man when he knows that an RG push is coming down the opposite lane.
Absolutely, that was insane. That Dark Goblin took like half that tower with one connection. The Snowball is really important there, just slowing everything down. KK is coming in with this RG push, but he has the bomb tower. He's got the Mighty Miner. I mean, I would say 1 or 2 RG hits max on this right side.
Yeah, you know, one shot comes in. That actually would have been perfectly defended had Morten not let that Dark Goblin get pulled by the Fisherman. So even with that slight error, Morten has a nice defense. Another Dark Goblin coming down. Bomb Tower in as well. Bomb Tower does not pull the RG. And that is a crazy interaction for Morten. Not what he needs to see here. And another shot comes in. 13-10 to 11-44. And just like that, we're all even up.
Yeah, Bomb Tower just came down a little bit late there. Surprising to see Morten make a big mistake like that. And it's really close. I still think Morten wins this game, especially with these mirror barrels coming in, and KK just not having the log. He used it in that last match, used the log and the roll delivery last match. Morten, I really like Morten's deck pick here, like based off that information. It's really hard for KK to deal with this. He does have the Dark Prince, he has the Hunter, but those goblins are always getting stabs.
Oh,
And
Dark Goblin gets
Dark
on the
connection.
tower. That is massive, man. 5-7, 57. Not going to be enough with the rocket. We're going to game number 3. And a slight misstep from Morten made that game maybe a little bit closer than it needed to be. But for the most part, it felt like he was in the driver's seat that whole time, Juicy.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely think he's a solid match there. KK just not having the right responses for those barrels and those mirror barrels.
Yeah, great call there by Morten. Maybe a little bit of a error there on KK's side, just not thinking about bait. Morten being one of the most famous bait players in the world, or to ever play the game, and obviously 4 decks are available. So it's always hard, but you figure if log is out, delivery's out, Morten might want to go to bait.
Yeah, absolutely. A Tombstone for Morten, Barb Barrel, and a Miner coming down. I would not be surprised to see Morten using some lava here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
KK most likely going to be using a fairly popular drill bridge spam variation with Magic Archer and stuff. There's the Magic Archer in the back.
And a nice connection there for KK. Golden Knight gets a few swings in on top of that dash. And Morten just taking a little bit of chip damage here with the arrows.
Arrow's not quite taking that Magic Archer out. I'm guessing, yep, he's going to be applying some pressure, forcing out this Flying Machine. Flying Machine does a really nice job, and a really nice Skelly King placement as well.
Yeah.
Making sure to prevent any sort of drill connection there.
Miner maybe coming out. There it is, Miner defensively. Flying Machine, like you said, Juicy, absolutely phenomenally placed there. Picks off the Magic Archer, turns around, gets on top of that drill. Skeleton King gets a few souls, and I like that we're not seeing the ability use here from Morten. Good use of patience and discipline.
Absolutely. I think with KK just not having a big spell to deal with that Flying Machine and these Skeleton Dragons, I think we're seeing yet again just another nice deck pick from Morten here. Ewiz will connect a little bit on this right-hand side, but overall I think Morten's just trying to survive till that double elixir where he can build up a big lava push that will be unstoppable.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an over-aggressive Ewiz there from KK. You recognize what he was going for, knowing that Morten doesn't have a lot of ground responses, maybe thinking that Skeleton King wasn't back around, or maybe Miner, one of them wasn't, but the Tombstone plus the arrows did a really good job of cleaning most of that up, and I think you hit the nail on the head there, Juicy. I think Morten just wants to get to double elixir, which we are at right now, and now we're going to see a little bit more pressure from the German.
Yeah, lava and back, big push coming in. How is KK going to respond to this? He does not have the best air counters. He does have a tornado, but it's not going against the lava loon, going against just like a lava spam variation. That tornado does not help you out very much. I like the pressure in the ops lane. You got to make sure to force out some elixir on the defense, or else this push will just be unstoppable.
Maybe arrows coming down here from Morten soon to take away that Magic Archer. No, Flying Machine tries to lock on, but a last-second NATO pulls it away. That's actually a really nice NATO, so Miner goes on top of the Magic Archer still, and it looks like Morten might be running away with this game. Flying Machine locks on, nothing to get on top of the Flying Machine, and now a Desperation Golden Knight at the bridge from KK. Tombstone going to be more than enough to clean it up. Morten goes 1-0 in our opening set of the day.
Yeah, actually insane reverse sweep from Morten there. Once again, really good deck picks. I think I called it at the start of this match. Like, whoever's got the better deck picks are definitely going to take the W in a very solid match between two experienced players like this.
Yeah, great call there, Juicy. I mean, you talk about where we were at the end of game number 1.